My Hero Academia Chapter 402 is finally out, and with it comes the end of an era for Hero Society and My Hero fans alike. It's as they say, folks, all good things must come to an end. Are you crying? Shut up, it's just my quirk piss eyes. But before we begin, don't forget to Detroit smash that subscribe button to keep up to date with all the Lunchtime Crew / My Hero content. And so, without further ado, let's jump right into My Hero Academia Chapter 402, titled The Tearful They. This chapter opens up with a few quick shots of both Shoto and Ochako lying unconscious on the ground, as the police back in their headquarters confirm that both heroes have succeeded in doing their jobs of stopping Dabi and Toga, wrapping up both of the heroes' stories and time in this war. Of course, following this mini wrap-up, the story then finally cuts back on over to the barely floating UA, where, as all of the twice clones that once plagued the structure vanish, we see Momo Yaoyorozu, fully kitted out with a spear, shields, and even machine guns popping out all over her body, standing cut up and bruised defending a working Mei Hatsume, who, in realizing that all of the twice clones have disappeared, announces that the weight of the structure has decreased dramatically, so she'll have no problem in making UA float once again. Which is amazing news for the heroes, as we see that just a little bit away, Midoriya is using all of his strength to keep Shigaraki close binded and in the air in an attempt to keep him from using his quirk and away from UA. So once the structure starts to fully float on its own again, he can let loose on the villain. However, as fortunate as this is, luck still seems to be on the villain's side, as All For One, now with a clear view of the duo, raises his hand and starts to activate his Goo Warp quirk, which internally he informs us he will use to get Shigaraki close to him so he can then transfer his synthetic or copied version of the quirk All For One over to Shigaraki, which will allow him to fully hijack the villain's body. Wait, so does that mean Shigaraki will have two All For One quirks inside of him and also All For One himself? That's just too much All For One. But anyways, as All For One activates the Goo quirk, All Might attempts to distract him, taunting him once again. But it's to no avail, as All For One, now with a clear mind, brushes the comment aside, noting that he will just complete his plan first and then come back for All Might. Amazing how a change of blood can change your whole mindset. And so All For One activates the quirk and Goo starts to shoot out of Shigaraki's mouth. Although, to the villain's surprise, before the quirk can fully take effect, Shigaraki shuts his mouth, negating the quirk, turns and looks towards All For One, commenting, "You're a nuisance, sensei." So, does Shigaraki have an ability that allows him to negate that quirk, or does closing your mouth actually cancel it? Because if the latter is the case, Bakugo's got some explaining to do. Oh, yeah. Having been refused by his disciple, All For One realizes that Shigaraki's consciousness has gotten far too strong for him to take advantage of the way he initially intended. So, instead, he employs his plan B, which consists of him grabbing All Might by the leg and flying himself and the Broken Man over to Midoriya and Tomura. With All Might in hand, and I mean literally, All For One announces that because All Might was the person who put the idiotic dream and belief in all those kids' heads that they could become heroes, he's now going to have All Might pay the ultimate price. And Tomura, being the sadistic villain that he is, doubles down on the terror, teasing Deku by saying that to fulfill his role as a hero, he has to save All Might. But if he does go, then he'll just go and unalive everyone at UA. Man, that's just nasty. And of course, this puts Deku in a desperate situation. Does he save his master and idol from a horrific end, or does he stay on course and protect countless others? Well, either way, this decision comes with a massive mental and physical toll on the hero, as Midoriya starts to reminisce about his time with All Might, particularly the time he promised that he wouldn't cry anymore. As it turns out, Midoriya has been forcibly attempting to hold back his tears ever since that moment. But now, in seeing his mentor like this and knowing the choice he has to make, he can't hold back his tears any longer. And as All Might's vestige slowly starts to fade, forewarning his farewell, a direct quote from the chapter, Midoriya screams out All Might's name as the tears that come from his eyes don't fall but burst out into a form of energy. The crybaby hero is here. And with Midoriya's scream, the chapter cuts over to All Might's mind, where he reminisces about his first encounter with Midoriya, when the young quirkless boy asked, "Can I become a hero even without a quirk?" But instead of the iconic no response we all remember, present All Might answers the question, going on to say, "Of course you can. After all, you always do your best and never give up on your dream. I've never been able to give up on mine either. My dream of being the symbol of peace." All Might, then in his truly final moments, shoots upwards and grabs All For One's neck with his arm that still has a part of his support armor gauntlet on it and smiles. All For One, caught completely off guard by this action, can't help but remember his fight with and the last moments of Nana Shimura. Initially confused as to why he is now remembering the last moments of someone he considered pathetic, weak, and completely irrelevant, it quickly occurs to him why he remembers, and it's because of her final words to the King of Villainy. All For One, All Might is going to defeat you, because Toshinori is crazier than you. And as we cut right back to the present, All Might continues to smile as he asks All For One, "If you die one more time, you'll rewind right back into a kindergartner, right?" As the gauntlet around All For One's neck explodes, engulfing both he and All Might in its blast. And that's it for chapter 402. If you liked this video, don't forget to leave a like. For more content like this, subscribe to the Lunchtime Crew. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. It's lunchtime!